Hello everyone, it's me again, Portly Paladin, back here for another video update. Just got a couple things this time, so it might be a little bit shorter than usual. Again, I'm late. Seems to be a bit of a habit lately. But the problem is that I've been extremely busy. For someone not working, it's kind of strange, but for this week, my biggest thing that I've been doing is working on another cake. There's a new game store opening in my area. As I've mentioned before, I am a gamer. I like to roleplay a lot, board games, things like that as well. And they are opening a new store near me. I've become friends with the new owners, and their grand opening is this coming Friday, June 3rd, and I volunteered to make a cake for their grand opening. So I've been working on that all week, so I've been fairly busy. But I do have good news in regards to that cake and with what's been going on this week. First, despite the fact that I've been working on a cake all week, and I was working on it last week as well, which is why it took so long to get the measurements, I still lost 5.5 inches last week, so that's good. And then the other update that I had on me is that not only did I lose 5.5 inches, but this week when I made the cake, I made it a point, I pushed myself and I challenged myself to not have to taste everything. What I did is I do have recipes when I'm baking these cakes and making the different ingredients and different things. Um, so what I did is I made sure to, unlike the way I normally do, which is just add things and then make sure they come out, is this time I made sure to follow the recipe exactly. Right on to the letter. Made sure I measured everything correctly and followed it as closely as I could. That way I wouldn't have to taste anything, so I wouldn't have to worry about getting the extra points and the extra calories from tasting the the icings and the cake and everything. So I think that went pretty well with me this week. Today is going to be a different day than normal. My wife and I, we've been invited to a little secret sale at the new store. So we're going to be doing that tonight. And for the first time since I've been on this, we're actually going out for a dinner. And we're going to a place that I couldn't find information on online. Most of the restaurants that we've picked food up from. We've gone to places like Applebee's and Bob Evans, things like that. And we've also picked up food from places like Chick-fil-A and Arby's and things like that. But when we've done that, I've made it a point to look online and find out the point values of certain things, and then I would be fairly comfortable eating whatever it was when I was there, because I already knew what the point values were going to be for those items. Tonight, though, we're going to a local Chinese place that's fairly close to the restaurant, to the store, and it's not a chain, so it's going to be kind of difficult. I do have my book here that has a lot of things in it, and I did look up some of the values, basic values of different foods. Like it does have an ethnic food section here, and for example, let's see here, it's got chicken and broccoli, which is one of my favorites, and it says a 1 cup serving of that is 2 points. So I'm going to use kind of this as a bit of a guideline, so I have an idea of what kind of points that I've got. But I've been fairly busy this morning. It's right now about 10:30 in the morning, so I only had a banana for breakfast this morning, which is 2 points. I have some chicken left over from dinner last night that I'm probably going to eat for lunch. Might eat that with like a can of green beans or something. So my lunch is probably going to be in the range of maybe 7 points. So only 9 points I'm going to have today. That leaves me with 35 points the rest of the day. So if I drink water the rest of the day, that'll leave me with 35 points for dinner. That should leave me with a decent amount of room for any miscalculations I might have. So that's going to be an interesting thing tonight. I feel comfortable, though, because I feel comfortable in my own ability to know what's decent for me now than I used to, because I've been on this for quite a while. I believe, let's see, I wrote this down. Yeah, this is my 7th or 8th week right now on Weight Watchers, so I've been on it for 2 months at this point, and I've learned a lot in the time I've been doing it, so I do feel comfortable making good decisions now. But just kind of give you an update on just me in general let alone just a plan. I'm feeling good. But before I started this, I was having some issues, primarily with sleeping. I couldn't sleep very well. I think that had a lot to do with my size and stuff. My wife had mentioned that I had some symptoms of sleep apnea as I was sleeping. I just kind of stopped breathing here and there, and that I sounded like I was labored in my breathing when I was sleeping. She hasn't noticed anything in a while in that regard. Uh, I'm feeling good because I'm starting to fit into clothes I haven't worn in forever. Like this shirt, for example. This shirt I'm wearing right now, I haven't worn this shirt in almost a year because it was far too tight. And now it's fairly comfortable. So it feels awesome that I can fit into some of these clothes that I haven't worn in a long time. Um, one of the things I've noticed is that when I'm out, granted I don't go out a lot, but when I do go out, for example, when I was working on this cake, I had to go pick up a couple things from the craft store. Last time I went to the craft store, I made it in, picked up the few things I needed, and then I was standing in line, and I made it maybe 5 minutes in line before I had to leave because I was getting shaky. My legs were getting tired from standing in line. Uh, this last time I went in, found what I needed. It took a couple minutes. I even perused a few of the aisles, which I wouldn't have had time to do before. And then I went and stood in line, and I was in line for almost 10 minutes because it was fairly crowded and they only had one register open. And I really had no problems. Toward the end, right as I was checking out, I started feeling a little bit tired. My legs were feeling tired, and I kind of wanted to go sit down, but I didn't need to. It wasn't a pressing thing like the last time, so that felt really good. I'm feeling a lot more energetic than I used to feel. I feel like I can do a lot more things. Um, Previous to this, when I would clean the house or do things around the house, I really had to push myself to do them. I forced myself to do it because I really usually didn't have the energy to do it. Now, I usually get things done really early in the day, and then I pretty much sit here wondering what else I can do the rest of the day. Another example of how I've changed is when I used to do cakes before, and I would spend an entire day making buttercream and baking. At the end of that day, I was dead tired. My legs would hurt. My body would hurt. Because I mean, even though I would sit there, literally sit in a chair in front of the mixer and making the buttercream, which I still do, honestly, because I can't stand there that long yet. But even though I was sitting there most of that time, I was still extremely tired. And when I would go to bed at night, my legs would ache and my body would ache, and it would just be horrible. This last cake I made, no problems like that at all. Nothing to speak of. I mean, Monday and Tuesday both, or no, sorry, rather, Tuesday and Wednesday both, I went almost non-stop. I woke up Tuesday morning, went directly into the kitchen, got started baking, got started doing dishes, cleaning things up, getting things ready to make the cake. Then yesterday, I also made the buttercream on Tuesday. I went to the store even on Tuesday. Ran out and got those things that I needed. Made the buttercreams and things, got everything wrapped up, put in the fridge. Got all that done even before my wife got home, and then helped her make dinner. Yesterday, I woke up again early, got started, trimmed the cakes, filled the cakes with the buttercream, did my crumb coat layer, got it in the fridge, and then I spent something like an hour and a half kneading fondant, which took a while because it had been in our cabinet for a little while, and it started to get kind of hard. So to soften that up, I had to knead it a lot. And then once I got it kneaded, I had to add more to it of a different color so I could get the color that I wanted, which took even more kneading. I had to sit there and knead and twist and fold and press this freaking stuff till it got fully integrated and incorporated. So that took a long time, and that took a lot more work than I'm used to, and I was fine at the end of the day as well, and helped my wife make dinner. So didn't hurt last night. Feel fine, feel great this morning. So a lot of things have changed since I've done this. So if you're thinking about it, and I'm sorry I'm saying so a lot, but if you're thinking about doing this, make that an example for you. Look at that and say, wow, this guy that was probably over 500 pounds and couldn't do a whole lot of stuff, is now being much more mobile and active and getting things done, and he's not tired. Just think about that. So my topic, as short as it's going to have to be today, is on variety. Make sure you put a lot of variety in your diet. If you're like me, generally you find when you're on a diet like this, when you're doing a plan, you find something you like and you stick with it because you're like, oh, well, this is good, so why should I move to anything else? Why? Well, the reason is you get bored and you start thinking, well, this is, you might not think this consciously, but subconsciously your head's going, this is the only thing I get. I only get to eat this. I don't get to eat something else that I want. Oh, man, this is horrible. I can't just eat this forever. So you've really, really, really got to take conscious effort and think about changing up what you eat and putting in variety. The reason I'm bringing this up is right now the biggest issue I'm having with this plan is, well, it's not even so much the plan, it's honestly because of my local grocery store. If I want to stay with fairly lean meats, which I do, the only real options are pork chops that are well trimmed, which I can take care of myself, and boneless, skinless chicken, or very well trimmed beef. But beef is more expensive, so I try to tend toward the chicken and the pork. The only problem is my local grocery store hasn't put pork loin and pork chops on sale in forever. I mean, it's literally been this entire stinking diet. I haven't been able to buy decent pork chops that aren't expensive or cheap. It used to be that they would put whole pork loins on sale for $1.88 a pound, $1.88 a pound, and then my wife would bring one home. I would trim all the fat off of it and cut it up into pork chops and put it in our freezer. That hasn't been on sale in at least 6 weeks, if not longer. So we've been eating chicken almost every day. Chicken of some variety, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, chicken thighs that I bake and then take the skin off of, or chicken drumsticks, the same thing, bake, chicken, and then skin off. Or grill. We just refilled our propane tank of our grill, so we've been grilling a lot lately. But either way, it's just chicken after chicken after chicken. I have thrown a little bit of beef in there and even a tiny bit of pork when we've been able to find packages of pork chops that aren't too pricey. But it's just getting insane. And I just keep thinking, wow, I'm getting deprived here. I need something else. So make a conscious effort to think about that and put yourself into a position where you can eat multiple things and give yourself some variety. That's really going to help you out in the end, I think. Last thing I want to leave you with is the recipes. This week I'm focusing on soups. Got 3 different recipes here for soups. I've got a chicken noodle soup, a greens soup, as in mustard greens, collard greens, turnip greens, etc. That's a very good soup that I actually, the chicken noodle soup and the French onion soup that I'm giving you today are recipes that I've been making for quite some time. But this greens soup I actually invented once we started out with this plan, and it's really good. Honestly, it's really tasty. It's low in points. Let's see, the greens soup, depending upon some of the things you put in it, can come out to about 8 points per serving. That's if you include the pasta that I have on here. I've had it both ways, with pasta and without. The pasta does make it stick with you a little bit longer, but it doesn't have to be there, and if you don't put it there, after it drastically reduce the points down to like 6 points a serving. Chicken noodle soup, 7. French onion soup, again, it's 10 points, but if you take away the cheese and the crouton, drops it all the way down to 6. But soups are a great way of filling yourself up and having a dinner for really low points, or lunch even. So look on the blog for these. Again, the blog is theportlypaladin.wordpress.com. Tell your friends, subscribe, go there, subscribe to that, check it out, pass on the word, and continue fighting the good fight, waging a war against your waistline. See you next time.